Hello, welcome to lesson functions 1.3. The title of this lesson is Function Notation Revisited. The learning objective is for students to learn how to describe a scenario using a function notation and how to describe in context the meaning of function statement. Moving on. Function notation is essential to our study of functions. Let's investigate how to use function notation to describe function statements in context. Suppose R of M, let me highlight that. Suppose R of M represents the revenue in dollars. So whenever you hear R of M in this context, R of M means the revenue, right? The money they get from advertising in a certain number of minutes that we purchase from a local radio station. Use function notation to represent the following statements. Several have been completed for you throughout as examples. And I would like to remind you that there are so many problems in here, but each problem might not be necessarily connected to each other. Don't try to kind of connect or make connections between them, okay? Okay, number one, the revenue we receive from 3 minutes of advertising. So the revenue we receive from 3 minutes, would that be R of 3? Because you know how R of M is represented by revenue, but if we already know how many minutes, so we could then just say R of 3, so that's revenue for 3 minutes of advertising, is $500 more. What is that? What do you mean by $500 more? Does that mean you got $500 more money, right? Than the revenue if we receive or if we only advertise for 2 minutes. So if there are 2 people advertising in here, so let's say you are advertising for 3 minutes, right? And then your friend is advertising for 2 minutes only. Because you're advertising for 3 minutes, you'll get $500 more. Does that make sense? Okay? So how do we represent the whole entire thing in one notation? So because you get $500 more, technically what that means is if you add $500 to your friend's revenue, that revenue will be equal to yours who is advertising for 3 minutes. And so our solution here is R of 3 equals R of 2 plus 500 for $500. R of 3 represents the revenue we receive for 3 minutes of advertising. And then R of 2 represents the revenue we receive from 2 minutes of advertising. So the right side is $500 more than that. Okay? Let's move on. And this lesson could get confusing because you know how we're combining words and numbers all together. So please stop the video if you're confused. Come back to the meeting and ask me about it before you continue to the next problem, okay? Number 2, the revenue from 5 minutes of advertising. So you know how earlier we had R of 3 for the revenue of 3 minutes? So does that mean that the revenue from 5 minutes is R of 5? Do you agree? Okay? The revenue from 5 minutes. So R of 5 of advertising is only $100 more. So this one is like the same as what we have earlier, yeah? It's the same as $100 more. So since the word more is there, I could say, okay, so it's a plus 100. Then if we advertise for 4 minutes, so does that mean R of 4 then? Okay, so let's put them together. Of course, you get more money by advertising for 5 minutes, right? Than advertising for 4 minutes. How much more money? It's $100 more. So to represent that in the notation, we would have R of 5 equals, what do you think? R of 4 plus 100. Okay. Very good. Now, I would like you to pause the video a little bit only and try to do number 3. Let's see if you can do it on your own. All right. I hope you did try it on your own, and let's continue. The revenue we receive from 5 minutes of advertising. So still, it's 5 minutes of advertising. It's like the one above, right? So the revenue of 5 minutes of advertising is double. Oh, earlier it says, on the top it says is only $100 more. And so we decided, okay, because it says $100 more, you just add to it, right? So like RO4 plus 100. But in this case, it says double. What does double mean? Does double mean times? Does double mean times 2? Right? Okay, well, let's move on. Double what we receive for 3 minutes of advertising. So let's put R of 3 there. And then let's analyze what's going on here. So you advertise for 5 minutes, right? So the revenue you get for advertising for 5 minutes, it says that it's double than the money, than the revenue, than the dollars that you get if you only advertise for 3 minutes. So that tells us that, again, advertising for 5 minutes gives us more revenue, gives us more money, right? So let's put them all together. We have R of 5 in here equals, what do you guys think? Let's put R of 3. R of 3. So it says that advertising for 5 minutes is double the revenue for 3 minutes. Does that mean I can just say, oh, okay, that means I just double that, right? And I think that's it. That's number 3. All right, moving on. If we increase the number, we have a new thing here, right? If we increase the number of minutes, okay, earlier we were increasing revenue, right? So the revenue will increase by $500. The revenue will increase or will be more than $100 more. But then here we're no longer increasing the revenue. It looks like we're increasing the number of minutes. Yeah? So if we increase the number of minutes, M, because we really don't know how many minutes they're advertising, so we'll represent it as M for minutes, M for we don't know how much minutes, that we advertise by 1 minute. So if we increase the number of minutes they advertise by 1 minute, not by $1, but by 1 minute, the revenue increases by 200. And we already know how to represent that the revenue will increase by 200. The revenue will be $200 more. And we kind of know that one already based on the previous questions, right? Okay. But then why is it the one is inside the parenthesis? So let's figure this out. What would be the difference if I say, let's say for example, I say R of M plus 1 and R of M plus 1, right? Like, what's the difference between these two? I think the difference is, if you look at this, it looks like it's the revenue will increase by $1. The revenue will increase by $1. But if you look at the one on the bottom, it's no longer the revenue that is going to increase, because if you take a look, the minutes is down here inside, right? And so it looks like the revenue is not the one increasing, but the minutes. Yeah, and that's the reason why the one should be inside and not outside. because the inside R of M, the M is the minutes. Okay? So this is the correct one and not the one on the outside. Moving on. Oh, let's have more examples. Okay? If we double, oh, here's that double again. Double times by 2. If we double the number of minutes, so times, we're not doubling the revenue anymore. Because you know how earlier we were doubling the revenue? It looks like we're no longer doubling the revenue, but we're doubling the minutes. So technically, if we multiply the minutes by 2, if we multiply the minutes by 2 that we advertise, our revenue will triple. So our revenue, what does triple mean? Is triple means times by 3? What do you think? All right. So we are doing something with the minutes and we're doing something with the revenue. So there's too many things going on in here, right? Okay, let's start. Of course, I'm going to start with R of M. But then it says that we have to double the minutes. Okay, I want to show you two things. You know how we could have 2 in here, and then we could also have 2 in there. Which one is correct? When we say if we double the number of minutes M, is it, which one is correct? Is it the 2 in purple or is it the 2 in blue? Think about it for a second or a minute. Do you think, what do you think? I think if we put the 2 on the outside, we are doubling the revenue. But if we put the 2 inside, we are doubling the minutes, which is the instruction in number 5. Okay, cool? All right, that we advertise, then the revenue will triple. So the revenue, something will happen to the revenue, and the revenue will triple. Oh, by the way, is this correct? The revenue will triple? Do you think it's right if you put the 3 inside there? Do you think that means the revenue will triple or no? I don't think so, right? Because that's a very common mistake what kids do. They put the number in the wrong place. If we, I'll show that again. If we put the 3 inside, it's saying that you are tripling the minutes. But I don't think that's the instruction. I think we are supposed to triple the revenue and not the minutes. So the 3 triple should be outside there. Okay. Moving on. Number 6. If we double the number of minutes M that we advertise, if we double the number of minutes M that we advertise, then the revenue will increase by 50%. Number 7, if we increase the number of minutes M that we advertise by 10 minutes, our revenue will double. Okay? Take a minute or 2, pause the video, do it on your own, and when you're ready, come back to the video and check your answer. All right, welcome back. I hope you actually did try it on your own. Let's see if you get it right. If we double the number of minutes, so we're not doubling the revenue, but we're doubling the number of minutes. So the 2 is not outside before the R, but it's inside with the M because we're multiplying the minutes by 2. The revenue will increase by 50%. So the revenue will not double, like the revenue will not triple. The revenue will increase by 50% only. Okay, so 50%. if you have, like, say for example, you have 2 R of M, right? Oh, let's if you have 2 times R of M, that means double, right? It's 100% increase, correct? But it's not 100% increase, it's only 50% increase. So let's put it like this. What if we have a revenue already? Because of course, if you double the minutes of your advertising, you gotta have a revenue, right? So we already have a revenue. What would happen to the revenue? It will increase. So it'll increase by, not by double, not by 100%, not by any kind of percent, but only 50%. So you can show it by R of M plus 0.5 R of M. Or as an alternate, you can also do it as, let me just erase this and make it smaller so that way they fit. So we have R of 2M equals RM plus 0.5 R of M. Or you could also say, for this part only, yeah, for this part, you could also say 1.5 R of M. So instead of increasing by, if it was a 2 times R of M, that increases by 100%. So it's not increasing by 100%, so it's not 2, it's 1.5. Okay? Moving on, number 7. Did you get it right? I hope you got it right. Number 7, if we increase the number of minutes M that we advertise by 10 minutes, so we're not multiplying it by anything, we're increasing it, so we're adding it. We have R of M plus 10, right? Increasing it by 10 minutes. Our revenue will double. Not that bad, right? Our revenue will double. And done. Okay? Moving on. If I'm too fast, just pause the video, think about it, and continue. Okay, moving on. This one is backwards, right? It's a reverse process. So in here, instead of us reading the statement and making a notation, we actually have the notation and we're gonna make the statement out of it. Okay. I've already discussed with you guys what R of 5 means. So R of 5 is the revenue in 5 minutes, right? And then R of 3 is the revenue of 3 minutes of advertising. And then 120 is 120 more. Okay, can you guys try problems 8 to 12 first on your own and then come back when you're ready? Okay, let's check your answers. We have R of 5, advertising for 5 minutes. We have R of 3, advertising for 3 minutes. The revenue of advertising for 3 minutes. So we're going to have just kind of the same as what we have on the previous page, right? Number 1. All right, there you go. No big deal, no anything crazy in it. It's just the same as what we have on the previous page. So the revenue from 5 minutes of advertising is $120 more than the revenue from 5 minutes of advertising. Moving on. R of 6 equals R of 5 plus 200. It's the same as number 8. It's just a different number, right? So the revenue from advertising for 6 minutes is how many more? How much more? Very good. It's $200 more than advertising for 5 minutes. Yay, very good, you guys. Okay, moving on. But did we say the 3 on the outside means? Did we talk about it earlier and we said that that means triple? That means times 3, right? Okay, so if we advertise, so the revenue for advertising for 10 minutes the revenue of advertising for 6 minutes, it looks like that it's triple the money, right? Okay, let's check your answer. Did you get it right? The revenue from 10 minutes of advertising is triple than what we would receive from 6 minutes of advertising. Okay, 2 more and we're done. I know it's kind of long, yeah, it's kind of like a really long thing. Okay, so I am now gonna stop the video, and for classwork, I would like you to turn in numbers 11 and 12 in Jupyter Ed, okay? I would like you to try to answer numbers 11 and 12, and then I would like you to take a picture of your answer and to turn it in as classwork via Jupyter Ed today, okay? Thank you, and I will see you on the next video. And for your homework, it's 1.3, it's function notation revisited homework. There's only, I think, 4 questions in there, okay? And this is the homework for today. And these 11 and 12, only 2 questions, is the classwork for today. All right, I will see you on the next video. Thank you for listening. Bye.